let's talk about Afghanistan and Pakistan. As you know very well, Pakistani government has a problem with Afghan Taliban.
Absolutely.
So it has been very controversial in the past few months, past few weeks. We know that Pakistani government, attacked many spots and areas and places in Afghanistan. So let us know how Pakistan's strategy towards Afghanistan has changed.
Hmm.
So,
Yes.
and what exactly changed?
Excellent question. I think it is a reality that since 1947, in the last 79 years, we've had a difficult relationship with Afghanistan. We had good relations with Sardar Dawood. We had good relations with previous Afghan leadership. But I think the last 46 years has made Pakistan realize that militancy in Afghanistan is a major source of concern and a major national security challenge to Pakistan. So some people were optimistic 4 years ago, and I'm not one of those, and I disagreed with those who were optimistic when Afghan Taliban returned to Kabul. But the last 4 years have clearly proven that the Afghan Taliban continue to behave as a militant organization, not as a responsible government. And that is a concern which I believe is shared by the entire international community, but also more importantly by the 40 million Afghan people who are suffering the most at the hands of this government. Because as a Pakistani, I believe it seems that Afghan Taliban are behaving as a terrorist organization who is welcoming, accepting, supporting, and facilitating terrorist organizations from around the world. And what I am saying is not my individual opinion. You know, the UN reports have said this. You know, the US Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, testified about it in US Congress. And that is evident through the concerns of Russia, China, Iran, US, and Pakistan. So that's not a Pakistan-specific concern. So I think we feel really let down by the Afghan regime, which is currently controlling Kabul. And they are not focusing on the development, on the progress, on the peace and stability of Afghanistan and the betterment of Afghan people. They think they can behave as a proxy of India, get money from them, and support BLA, TTP, and BLF against Pakistan, ETIM against China, IMU against Central Asia, and Daesh against the West.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question. At this moment that we talk, so there are many people, journalists, writers, analysts that believe that this current tension between Pakistan and Afghan Taliban somehow is not serious. Why? Because they think that for decades, for years, it's not a secret that Pakistan harbored them, supported them. They lived in Pakistan, had a deep relationship with some individuals at Pakistani government, and there are documents, even high official of Pakistan government admit it. The Ministry of Defense said we made a mistake in the past. So still some people believe that Pakistan's tension with Afghan Taliban is another game.
I hope that was true, but I think the ultimate evidence to prove that Pakistan has no love lost for Afghan Taliban is the fact that in the last 4 years, no country has suffered more than Pakistan as a direct consequence of frequent and growing terrorist attacks from Afghanistan. We have lost more soldiers, more civilians, more daughters and sons in last 4 years when Afghan Taliban came into power. So if they were our allies or even proxies, do you think we'll be supporting them to kill our own children and brothers? It doesn't make sense. You know, no country has suffered so much. We have lost about $150 billion to our economy. And we have lost almost 80,000 lives in the last 26 years. So if they were really our friends or proxies, do you think we'll be paying and supporting, encouraging and tolerating them if they are getting paid to kill us, to bomb us in Islamabad, in Lahore, and in our mosques, in universities? I don't think
Yeah, sure.
this
You're
is
a very
rational
well-known analyst here in Islamabad. Help us understand this. So some people say that, Pakistan is not that naive. Pakistan knew Taliban, who are the Taliban. They knew who are Mullah Hibatullah, Yaqub, Sirajuddin Haqqani. It's not the surprise for them that all of a sudden discovered, oh, so these Taliban are not like function as a modern government, they are militant. So Pakistan knew this. And they ask why all of a sudden Pakistan realized that, well, Afghan Taliban are a problem with for us.
I think it's a valid question. And I think, let me give you an example. Soviet Union and US were very close allies in the Second World War. They fought Germany, Italy, and Japan together. But the day Berlin fell and the Second World War ended, what is the situation? Soviet Union became the biggest adversary of the US. This is a reality. I think it was Lord Palmerston which said something very prophetic and timeless. In international politics, there are no permanent friends and no permanent enemies. The constant is national interest. It is true that we felt that we had an obligation to help Afghan people free themselves from foreign occupation. I want to put it in that way.
Understand your point. So,
but today you are occupied by a militant organization, which is getting money from India and weapons from around the world. According to US official records, more than 400,000 different types of weapons and arms were left behind by the ISAF forces, worth more than $7 billion. Now, whoever is in charge in Kabul is expected to behave responsibly and secure those weapons. 70% of the attacks that have been carried out in Pakistan had those ISAF weapons. And they were freely available to whether it is BLA, Daesh, Tehreek-e-Taliban or anybody else. So what does this mean? They are sharing these weapons and giving them deliberately to the terrorists who are attacking Pakistan every day. So this is why, this is a concern which even President Trump shares with Pakistan. That, let me recall the Director of National Intelligence of the US, Tulsi Gabbard, when she spoke before the US Congress, she said, and she has served as a colonel in the US military. She said the manner in which the Biden administration left Afghanistan was so ill-planned that she fears that one day US forces will have to go back again to sort out Afghan Taliban. They have become again a huge global threat to international peace and security. And when you read the first annual national intelligence threat assessment issued by the Trump administration, what is the dominant and topmost threat to the US national security?
Okay, let me ask you
It's terrorism. And what is the biggest source of terrorism right now? Again, It's Afghanistan.
Yeah. So
we want to help Afghan people save themselves from terrorism, just like we want to save ourselves and our brothers, sisters, and daughters and sons from the terrorism which Afghan Taliban are using and supporting.
yeah, you mentioned that the United States of America shares Pakistan's concerns when it comes to Afghanistan. Has the United States government helped Pakistani government to fight and attack some targets in Afghanistan?
There is a degree of intelligence sharing and cooperation between Pakistan and US, which is classified, but we do cooperate and coordinate at a certain level.
Therefore, so what Pakistani government has been doing in Afghanistan in the past few months or weeks is coordinated with the US. Is that your analysis?
I think since the director of US National Intelligence has formally identified Afghan Taliban as a threat to US interests, which is a common concern. And you remember very well that President Trump, in his first address to the US Congress, also appreciated and thanked Pakistan for supporting the US in counterterrorism efforts and handing over a very important terrorist who was involved in attacks on US forces in Kabul. So I think it is obvious that there is a military and intelligence cooperation between Pakistan and US against the common threat of terrorism emanating from
Afghanistan. Okay. This brings us to this question that I would like to ask you right now. What is the next step for Pakistani government? What Pakistani government would like to do next when it comes to Afghanistan and Afghan Taliban?
Okay, let me use this opportunity to clearly articulate what is Pakistan's Afghan policy right now. There are three elements, and that will help your viewers distinguish it from any previous policy. Number one, we have a no-nonsense approach towards counterterrorism. We have had a defensive role towards counterterrorism for the last 3 years. It did not work because there were people who were coming here and attacking from Afghan. We were sharing dossiers, evidence at the highest level with the leadership. And then we offered them that we'll give you intelligence. You take care of these terrorists in your own country because you are ruling Afghanistan. They did not do it. The third proposal from Pakistan was that we can, if you lack the capacity, then we can help you. Can that be a joint effort, a joint operation? If you think these individuals and organizations like TTP and BLA are not under your control, let's carry out joint attacks. They again refused. Now at the fourth level, when the talks happened through the facilitation of Turkey, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, again they avoided making a clear commitment that Afghan soil will not be used for terrorism in Pakistan. That's the least we expect, and that is, I think, something which all the countries and all the Afghan neighbors expect. Afghanistan, that your soil will not be used for terrorism against any other country. That's what we want. That's what Afghanistan gave an obligation under Doha Accord to the US, and that is exactly what we expect. But they deliberately avoided that. So, and then the ferocity, the audacity, and the lethality of these attacks increased. There were attacks on army installations in KPK. There was attack in a religious center in Islamabad. So I think Pakistan decided enough was enough. So we had credible intelligence we were sharing earlier with the Afghan Taliban. So we very carefully, in right of self-defense, carried out surgical strikes against those terrorist camps where these terrorists were being trained, harbored, equipped, and sent here. And thankfully, in the last 1.5 months, I think there has been a gradual decline in the terrorist attacks from those terrorist camps against Pakistan, which is an evidence that they are beginning to,
It worked, in your opinion?
Yes, yes.
That worked.
Reduce their ability to launch terrorist attacks in Pakistan. The second aspect of the policy is diplomacy. The diplomacy Pakistan has um, employed at three levels: at the bilateral level, at the multilateral level through Turkey, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and recently China, and at the international institutions like United Nations, OIC, and other forums, at BIA, at BRICS, at SCO, that we want the international community to also try to convince Afghan Taliban that you should behave responsibly. And Pakistan, imagine, offered with the, we helped convince China to offer an extension of BRI and CPEC in Afghanistan, so that it starts a billions dollars worth of economic trade route in Afghanistan, which will give you jobs, investment opportunities.
Yeah.
But instead of looking at that, Afghan Taliban is still behaving like a militant organization. And the third aspect was, we decided that there was a criminal and terrorist nexus. The smugglers had a very strong, close nexus of providing terror financing to Afghan Taliban. So we improved border security and cracked down on the smuggling, which has also reduced their financing of the. These are the three key features of our current Afghan policy.
Yeah, so still it's not clear, as if you can explain. So in the future, so for the next steps, do you think the government of Pakistan would continue these policies, like attacks on targets and put military pressure?
I think, I hope it is a temporary option, because again, we have nothing against the peace-loving, responsible Afghan people and Afghan nation. You know, we have offered scholarships to Afghan students. I know I have a lot of Afghan friends who are scholars, who are professors, who are doctors, engineers, who want to go back and rebuild their country like anybody else. We have nothing against them.
So but your point is that the Pakistani government is not trying to oust the Taliban and help another regime?
I think it is for the Afghan people to decide who they want to represent them best. But my own assessment is that the irresponsible behavior of the current Kabul administration is very sad. It's a huge tragedy for the Afghan people, because instead of trying to work on their rehabilitation, development, and progress, they are denying their human rights. They are depriving the ladies from contributing and improving their lives. They are depriving the Afghan children from studying. They are they are intolerant towards other ideologies and school of thoughts. They are impatient towards other communities. So in order for Afghan society and country to emerge from this caveman mentality and emerge as a responsible, stable, growing, self-respecting nation, I think Pakistan will always support the Afghan people. But if they think they need a better representative, it is definitely up to the Afghan people. And if they decide that, I think not just Pakistan, the entire international community will help them. But the actual decision is entirely up to the Afghan people.
So let me ask you this question. Some historians or people who understand the history of Afghanistan and Pakistan relationships, so believe that in the past, the strategy of Pakistan was to support some religious groups, fundamentalists in Afghanistan, at least in a few decades. And the Pakistani government was trying to push back that Pashtun nationalism. Is that a legitimate point of view? Does it make sense at all?
I think it is based on an unfortunate neglect of history. If you actually go back to the documents of the history of Durand Line, that how it was negotiated, how it was drawn, and how it was accepted, it is unfortunate that some political elements have tried to exploit it for their short-term and immediate popular politics. But that is um, a narrative which is divorced from international law and also international conventions. When Afghanistan recognized Pakistan as a sovereign state in the United Nations, what does that mean? That means that Afghanistan recognizes the territory that Pakistan claims as its territory. So why this afterthought 30 years later? This is ridiculous. Since you're visiting Pakistan, I'll suggest that if you have time, do visit Karachi, do visit Peshawar, do visit Lahore. You will be surprised. The city in the world with the biggest population, Pashtun population is Karachi, not Kabul.
Yeah.
So should there be? I mean, this is ridiculous. I mean, and secondly, there are more Pashtuns in Pakistan than in Afghanistan.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
And you know, on a lighter note, the most vibrant politics in Pakistan is in KPK. They're very demanding, they're very vocal, but they're still proud Pakistanis. You know? So I think this ethnic card represents short-term popular politics divorced from international history and international law. And let me recognize and appreciate. Recently, yesterday in fact, I heard number of leading Afghan statesmen, scholars, they mentioned
Yes.
that they recognize Duran Line as international border. And that is an evidence that they are peace-loving people and they have no ill will against Pakistan. And I wish them very well. And I think Pakistan will support Afghan people, all Afghan peace-loving, responsible people who want to rebuild their country. I think, let me just say 2 points. No country, my friend, has suffered more than Pakistan because of terrorism and instability in Afghanistan.
No, so,
And no country will benefit more if Afghanistan becomes responsible, stable, and progressive nation. And imagine that Gwadar, or the CPEC we have built, we have 3 ports, Port Qasim, Karachi, and Gwadar. If Afghanistan becomes stable, responsible, and peaceful, then it will become the epicenter of the entire geoeconomic future of Eurasia.
yes,
The,
absolutely.
the ports of Pakistan will link the entire Central Asian markets through Afghanistan. How many opportunities Afghan people will get
Sure,
in business and trade?
Yeah, sure.
So how
Good
much
point.
you are suffering because
Yeah.
of this government?
Let me ask you this question. So, from your point of view, Duran Line has nothing to do with the tensions that has been going on between Pakistan and Afghan Taliban currently.
No, 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 that's not.
Not at all.
That's not an issue. The major issue is, unfortunately, and only the irresponsible support for terrorist organizations based in Afghanistan. But we unfortunately continue to view Afghanistan from counter-terrorism lens, which is unfortunate because, like I earlier pointed out, there are huge geoeconomic opportunities which Afghan people are being denied, that they can benefit from and Pakistan can benefit from if there is a responsible government.
Help us understand from your point of view why mostly Pashtuns in Afghanistan say that they do not recognize Duran Line as an official border between Afghanistan and Pakistan.
I don't have an idea. You should ask them. But I think.
But you studied history.
Yes, but my view is that I think no nation in history has perhaps helped the Afghan people more when they were facing foreign occupation, either during the Soviet era or subsequently. whenever a foreign invader came to conquer and destroy and bomb Afghanistan, I think it was only Pakistani nation which stood by the Afghani people. There's too much focus on militancy and jihad
Yeah.
and too little recognition of the 3 to 4 million Afghan brothers and sisters who lived in Pakistan.
Pakistan.
I knew Karzai, former President Karzai, very well. If you are familiar with Islamabad, he lived in Islamabad.
Yes.
He used to offer Jummah prayers in Faisal Mosque. You know, I met him frequently. And let me tell you, the world's #1 bowler in cricket, Mr.
Rashid.
Mr. Rashid Khan, he learned cricket in Peshawar.
In Peshawar, yes, yeah.
So I know
There are
him.
a lot of common
So,
and
we
shared
have-
history and culture,
we
of course.
are proud of the success and contribution. Everything you see in this room is probably of
Yeah.
Afghan art.
Yeah.
So we value our historic traditions and friendship, and we want to recover from this unfortunate episode of militancy, so that our brothers and sisters can come back to us, and we can rebuild this region and repair our relationship and start an era of progress, prosperity.
Okay, well, you mentioned helping each other, having a better Afghanistan, good relationship with Pakistani and Afghanistan people. Well, really good. I think everyone likes that, but it's complicated. So, as you may know, there is a mistrust. There is no trust between a huge portion of people of Afghanistan towards Pakistan's government. And that comes, I think, from their past experiences. So how to build this trust? How we convince people of Afghanistan that they can trust Pakistani government, that Pakistani government trusts them, and they can help towards a future that would be helpful for both sides?
Two things. I think I agree that the current recent episode has divided us and created distances between us. And let me also recognize that Pakistani government and in state institutions must also expand its engagement and outreach with all segments of Afghanistan, all communities, not just Pashtun, whether it is Tajik, whether it is Uzbek, whether it is Hazara. I think Pakistani should engage, do business with them, interact with them, so that these misperceptions are reduced, number one. Secondly, let me share with you that we have thousands of years old history. You know, whether it was Babur or whether it was Aurangzeb or it was Jahangir or it was Abdali, whether it was Ghaznavi, we have common heroes. Tell me, is there any other nation in the world which shares the same heroes as your heroes? That is the ultimate evidence. We have common heritage, common bonds, which unfortunately in the last 40, 50 years of militancy and terrorism has spoiled. But we can repair it, we can heal it. And for healing touch, we need to engage and build some confidence building measures. And I think journalists like yourself should visit Islamabad more. Pakistani journalists should visit other parts of Afghanistan as well. We should have more media interactions where people like myself will be able to share the true thinking and ideas and feelings towards Afghan people. And similarly, there should be more Afghan people appearing so that we also recover from our misperceptions. Secondly, there should be academic and intellectual exchanges. The professors from Pakistan should talk to the Afghani scholars. Then third, I think there should be, diplomatic exchanges. And the most important thing is the business community, the chambers of commerce of industry of Pakistan and should interact with the business community, so that whether it is economy, whether it is knowledge, whether it is diplomacy, whether it is scholarship, they get to interact with each other and reduce this misperception, and also try to identify and explore opportunities through which we can help each other, reduce mistrust, and revive an era of progress, stability, and prosperity in this region.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It
Great
was a
talking
pleasure.
to you.
Likewise. Thank you so much.